Hello and welcome to Ask Them. I'm Shelley Irwin. Tonight, Thanksgiving, we have a special guest, so don't be a turkey and don't fall asleep. Our expert chef has a special treat. That's pretty good, right? Chef Jenna? Chef Jennifer Momore here, right here in the heart of Grand Rapids, right up on Alpine. We'll talk about you and more, but how's your Thanksgiving? You leave the family at home to come play?
Yeah, you know, it's not that long of a trip, so yeah.
Well.
Actually, my husband is gonna be in Italy, so I get to call him later. And
Okay, it's a good day.
Yeah.
Well, I introduced you formally as a chef, but also owner of this great
Yes.
Opportunity to visit.
It was a
Well,
great
yeah.
opportunity. It just has been a dream of mine for a while, and there was an old empty building, and the one thing I wanted was an empty building with a liquor license to transfer, and we happened to find one. It wasn't in like prime location, but we thought maybe we can make this work.
Yeah.
So
Where are you located physically?
we're on Alpine at 6 Mile. So we're right next to the Swan Inn, where most people say, "Oh, I know where you are,"
know the Swan
or across from Oasis Hot Tubs.
Yep. What's your niche? What makes you special?
We're authentic Italian. Initially, that was tough because most people know more about Americanized Italian than the authentic version, which when I say authentic, I mean the things that you would eat if you left today and went to Italy and what they would be serving on their tables there, compared to what Americans seem to know, which is definitely not what they serve on the tables there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to not only show people what that's like, what they eat over there, but also it's really interesting how they cook food in Italy based on what's around them. So the slow food movement actually it started in Italy. And what they said, let's do whatever we can within a 5-mile radius of our home. So they started eating foods around them, which made for this beautiful movement about supporting your local farm, and it just kept exploding from there. And that's what I wanted to do, especially being out on Alpine. I'm right on the ridge where fruit, veggies, local farmers are there that I get to talk to one-on-one, and they ask me what I want to grow, which is amazing.
Amazing, and you take advantage of it. Well, what you're going to make is amazing for us tonight. What's on the plan?
Well, since we're talking holidays, and obviously today is Thanksgiving, I'm making a pumpkin ravioli. This is something that we put on the menu only in the fall. And when I was in Italy the first time, I got to try a pumpkin tortellini.
Ooh.
And I thought it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And so, being a vegetarian, I had a hard time finding things that were interesting for me to eat there.
Good point.
So now, as soon as I had that, I was like, I need to learn how to make those. So what I did was, instead of a tortellini, I made a ravioli, and this is what we serve at the restaurant. And the best part about it is it's simple as far as the sauce is concerned.
Okay.
Well, all we do is butter.
I mean, this is butter, not margarine, right?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm anti-margarine. Sorry, I want the real deal. I want it to be butter, and I want it to be salted because what we're going to do is make brown butter. And once the salt hits the bottom of the pan, it forms these like really beautiful granules that have a beautiful salty flavor, and it's out of this world. And
What'd you put in there? What spice is that?
This is just fresh sage. And you can start to smell it, and that's what your kitchen smells like on Thanksgiving because of the stuffing.
Okay, all right.
So fresh sage is what they put in most stuffings.
All right, so
So
there we are.
this is all you have to do is, once you cook that butter and it starts to brown, these sage leaves are going to turn into these little mini potato chips
Wow.
because they get fried in that butter.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep showing you. You can smell it right now. It smells amazing. The more it cooks, the more it starts to smell even better because that butter is going to brown up a little bit. And so once I throw those ravioli in here, they're going to have a brown coating to them a little bit,
Which is pleasing to the eye, which is
right.
important.
And the crispiness.
Oh,
I'm really
please.
about texture too. So you're going to get the soft center of the ravioli, and then you're going to get the crispiness.
Now, how did you, quote, make your ravioli?
We make them in-house every
Okay,
day, so
all
we're
right.
busy working, and you can see they got the pretty little ridges on the side. I brought a little tool back from Italy for that. But we make our filling, and then we have our scooper, and we scoop them, and then we pinch them closed.
I mean, obviously we can get them from you, but one could make that on their own, correct?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So now you can see
It's
how
brown.
it's brown?
It's browned up, yep.
And those little granules on the bottom are that salt.
Yes? Oh
And
my
you can see
gosh.
that these are curving up a little
Can I
bit.
smell? Uh-huh.
And then, so all we do at this point is just lift these in.
There you are.
And they're gonna stick together because they've been sitting there for a minute. But
Now, obviously, you could put any type of I mean, what else would you use besides pumpkin? I mean,
oh
yeah.
gosh, at the restaurant we make
Yeah.
so many different kinds. But only in the fall is when I make the pumpkin.
Which would make
Which-
sense. And
yes.
how did you get the pumpkin? Did you get that right?
Yep,
from a
and then
pumpkin?
you
Yeah.
roast it, and then you put it through a food processor.
Okay.
And then we add these little tiny amaretti cookies, which have an
Okay,
almond
they're
flavor.
The little cookies here,
Yep.
right?
So we add those, and we add the Parmesan cheese, and we're good. That's the filling. It's 3 ingredients. So what I'm going to do is just pour that over the top so you can see how
You
pretty
didn't
it
cook
is.
that very long.
Nope.
You don't need to.
You don't need to, because once it's brown, I turn that heat right off.
You don't need to cook the pasta nor the pumpkin.
Well, I cooked the pasta ahead of time,
Okay.
so it was ready.
Well, that's true, yeah.
And then one thing we always have to remember about cooking pasta is to salt the water,
And why is that?
because it takes on the flavor inside the pasta. And so if you don't salt the water, the pasta tastes bland.
If someone is watching their salt intake, is that an issue?
Obviously, if they have an issue with salt, they're going to want to leave it out. But if you want to do the proper Italian way, they have sea salt, and you're going to want to taste your water. It's going to want to taste like the sea. That's how salty your water should be.
And what is sea salt?
The sea salt is the salt from the actual sea.
It is
and,
truly.
and there's fino, which is the small, and then there's grosso, which are the big pieces of salt.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law uses the big pieces because she's throwing them into water,
And she's
they
Italian,
dissolve.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
there we are.
She's.
Do you need
she's
to do
over there.
something with these?
Yep. And then what we do, they're on the inside, but we also like to crumble them on the outside just for a little extra.
Those are on the inside, huh?
Yep. And we also use them in our tiramisu, which we'll talk about.
Would this be a main course?
Yes.
Okay, this
Yep.
would be dinner.
It'd be an
Dinner for
interesting,
tonight. Yes,
yeah.
uh-huh.
It'd be
Yeah.
an interesting way to present a dessert too. If you like the savory sweet desserts, you could absolutely do that. So it's a different, unique kind of fun pasta to do around the holidays.
Great. Yep, and that's where we are.
Yes. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can bring over some salads so we can talk about leftovers.
Let's do leftovers because by now, of course, 6:15 or whatever, we're starting to either digest. Leftovers are big, right? Aren't we getting more and more recipes that actually are designed for the leftover?
You know what? I love using leftovers.
Yeah.
It's because it allows you to be creative. And so I'm big on leftovers. My
Okay.
husband, who's Italian, is not. He refuses. He's too good for that.
Okay, well, he's not here.
But I'm not, right.
It's your expertise. What are your
Exactly.
thoughts here?
So I'm thinking leftover turkey, leftover cranberries, any kind of holiday usually involves some kind of nut. It could be your family, but
Well, then, you
but
got
no,
that,
but
yeah.
the nuts are candied, and I want to talk about how easy these are to make at home too.
Yes.
It's an egg white. That's the glue to your walnut, and you just take the egg white and mix it all in, and then you add any spice you like. This has cinnamon, sugar,
Goodness.
and then it has a tiny bit of cayenne for heat. And then you can just eat them like that. You put them in the oven at 350. You don't want to burn them, so it's about 10 minutes. You got to keep an eye on them. But these are great as a snack, and then you can add them to your salads.
So these are leftovers
Yep.
from today,
Yep.
obviously, and then use this in my salad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like I said.
So this is just leftover. You can chop up your leftover turkey breast. These are actually dried cherries from Michigan.
Yes. Oh, good.
So we're trying to use local here. I'm just going to throw
Yes.
the turkey,
And the cranberries.
the dried, yep, and then
There we go.
walnuts that we candied. This is one of my favorite products that I found. It's a smoked blue cheese. If you smell it, you can smell how
What makes a smoked blue cheese?
It's smoked on the outside, so it has the smoky flavor to it,
How
almost
does
like
one
a
make
bacon.
do you purchase it
I
that way?
purchased it that way. Yep.
All right. So that brings in few more calories, but we won't go there.
No, it's the
Anyway,
holidays. We don't
that's
talk
right, I
about
forgot about that.
we don't talk about calories until after the holiday, right?
January 2.
So then the other really interesting thing
Mm-hmm.
is that's different between Americans and Italians are salad dressings.
All right.
We use so much mayonnaise and creamy
Mm-hmm.
dressings, whereas in Italy it's mostly balsamic and olive oil.
Okay. The real deal.
If you want to go fat-free, like we're talking a little bit lighter,
Yes.
this is one of the easiest dressings you can make. It's equal parts honey, local Michigan honey, and mustard.
That's it.
That's it. You mix it together.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
fat-free completely. It's not super high in calories. It has the honey, but it's not that bad. So what we do is, this is our old squeezy bottle.
The honey brings in some thickness, right?
Yep, the honey makes it thick and sweet.
Oh my gosh.
And then that's it. That's all you do. It's a pretty easy little salad you can make with your leftovers.
All right. Good. Now let's just talk generic and what else am I doing with my leftover turkey?
Well, gosh, I always come to right to an Italian theme. So I'm thinking like a white turkey lasagna would be nice.
Okay.
With the noodles and a cream sauce instead of a tomato sauce. You could
Okay.
easily do a tomato sauce as well
Yes.
if you're watching your calories. The other thing I thought of was if you have leftover sweet potatoes,
Yes.
we make a
That are mashed, you
yeah,
mean?
we make a sweet potato gnocchi, which is like a potato dumpling,
Okay.
but out of sweet potatoes. They're usually made with regular potatoes, but it makes a delicious entree. So that's kind of fun. Also, if you have lots of different leftovers, even your green beans or whatever, you can make a soup. So you can make a tortilla soup
Okay.
with your turkey, your vegetables that you might have left over in the house, crumble up some tortilla chips on top. It's easy because all you have to do is add the broth.
And that broth would come from
Your
just
turkey.
from the turkey.
Yeah.
That,
Usually
kept.
you have your bones left over. You can boil those and make a nice stock out of it.
Yeah.
So if you're really good at using your leftovers, some people don't even have them because they have that big family over.
Yeah.
But if you do, there's so many ways we really can use them. So that's fun.
Are we eating a lot of chili these days?
I like
Could
chili.
could you do the chili thing? With the turkey? I
Absolutely.
mean, again, you can do anything.
You can do
right?
anything. You can do a white bean turkey chili.
How long does, say well, first of all, wrapping up the leftover turkey, say tonight, what's the action item? How long will that last in the freezer?
In the freezer, I never like anything more than 6 months.
Okay.
It starts to not taste as good, and it usually starts to get some kind of freezer burn. So I always say anything over 6 months, just get rid of it in your freezer.
All right.
As far as in your refrigerator, I have a 6-day rule.
Okay.
The health department has a 7-day rule, but we like to just knock off a day just for, you just don't want to have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is a 6-day rule for anything in your refrigerator too that's fresh.
That's great. Let's talk, I see it over there, dessert.
Okay.
Are we still into the pumpkin pies and pecan pies?
Absolutely.
And,
They're one of my favorite things,
Great.
and I make them every year from scratch.
From scratch.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love pecan pie is one of my favorite desserts of
right.
all time. So
Where do you get your pecans? Is that, that's not native.
no,
not local.
no,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Aldi.
Okay.
You save a lot of money there. You can get all your ingredients for probably half price, almost. So
Just have to box your own stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
It's not a big
So
deal.
pecan pie, pumpkin
yeah.
pie, and then you brought in something even more unique.
Yes, I brought in a tiramisu. Now the original recipe calls for coffee and chocolate. I kind of kicked it up a notch, and I turned my cream into a chocolate hazelnut cream. So I added some cocoa powder and some hazelnut
What is
liqueur.
tiramisu?
Tiramisu means pick me up.
Whoa.
So tira means
Yeah.
pick.
Uh-huh.
Me means me. Su means
Okay.
up. So it's
Yeah.
actually named because of the coffee in it that helps pick you up and the sugar.
Is it standard to have coffee? in a
Yes, the
tiramisu?
original recipe
Didn't know
has
that.
coffee.
Okay.
Espresso. So
Ah.
what happens is you make a mix out of espresso, liqueur, and then you dip your cookies in it, and they become like a cake, soft cake. In my recipe, I have the lady fingers that are cakey on the bottom, but then in the second layer, I like the texture and the
This
crunch
back on.
of these. These are amaretti cookies. They have almost like an almondy flavor, but they're actually made out of apricot pits.
Okay.
So they're between like a meringue and an almond flavor. And we put those on our second layer for crunch because I like that crunchy texture.
Wow.
So when you try our tiramisu, you'll have the soft on the bottom and the crunch in the middle.
And you just say, thank you, Jenna, for your good talents.
And it's fun because right now we're running a pumpkin caramel, we're running chocolate. During the different seasons, we run a different one. In fact, we just thought of making an eggnog version for Christmas. So we'll make an eggnog tiramisu for Christmas, which will be fun.
What, again, we've probably are digesting now, but what's the latest in stuffing? And then if you want to use that as a leftover, my stuffing?
Gosh, I'm a huge fan of stuffing. There's never leftovers because I love it so much. But you know what? There's a lot of people putting walnuts in their stuffing, fresh herbs like sage and rosemary. I like to put celery, carrots, and onions in mine. There's a lot more vegetarians these days, so I try to make a stuffing that's vegetarian and a stuffing that's not. So for the vegetarian stuffing, I just use butter and celery, carrots, and onions and bread. But then, you know, for the other one, you stuff the turkey with it. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the vegan diet. Do you cater to that, and what is this,
Absolutely.
this choice?
It's easy to cater to it. I think more people should, and I think there's going to be more people that turn vegan slowly.
Is this all vegan allowed?
No, none of this is vegan because of the butter, and this has the cheese in it, and the nuts have egg on the outside. But you could easily do it vegan. If someone comes to me that's in the dining room and says, we're vegan, we don't see a lot on your menu, I'll go out and talk to them and say, what would you like? I'll make something just for you. And then they can have exactly what they're looking for, just a vegan version. And I love to do that because I'm a vegetarian and I lived through having to kind of go through a phase where restaurants would, this is one of my big pet peeves, I would order a salad without the protein on it and I would pay full price. Where the protein, since I'm a restaurant owner, I know that's the main cost of the food. So they should figure out a way, most of the restaurants now have it, a salad on its own and then chicken is additional price.
Well,
but in the beginning it was annoying to me because I was like, well, I didn't have any of the protein and I'm still paying the full price and I didn't get anything extra. So yeah, it's also celiac and people who are gluten-free is a big deal now. For the common, taking our conversation into more of the common cook at home, what are the basic necessities in my pantry? What must I always have? That's a great question. If you like to cook, it's nice to always have in your home flour, sugar, eggs, butter, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, pasta, a good tomato sauce, but you make your own. Don't buy the stuff already in a can.
Oh, guilty.
Okay. If you just go to any of the supermarkets, they'll have a crushed tomato. It'll cost you
in a can.
In a can.
All right.
It'll cost
That's
you
okay
60.
to get.
Yeah, it'll cost you 65 cents. If you buy the Prego or any of those, they're like $3 now. Basically, all you're doing is adding fresh herbs to a can of crushed tomatoes with olive oil, and it's going to taste better, and it's not going to have all the preservatives that those other brands that are shelf stable have. We have to sit back and think, if something's shelf stable, what is in it that's making it
still taste okay?
Yeah. So these are things, that's why I like to teach easy, simple recipes that aren't going to be full of preservatives or anything horribly bad for you.
What about utensils? What utensils must one have?
Well, a ladle, a can opener, a nice set of tongs is always great to have because you need them for various things. A nice slotted spoon, so when you're stirring and you maybe need to pick up a piece of pasta to taste where it is, you can pick it up. I really like a nice serrated knife. They are easy to cut vegetables, and then a chef knife, which is the straight edge knife. It's usually, oh gosh, there's between 8 to 9 inch knives that you can buy. I mean, just the basics, you don't really need a lot.
You're right. And every once in a while, go out, right?
Right. Come out and see me. I'll cook for you anytime.
Talk about presentation. I mean, obviously, it's probably 75% of what you do. But how important is that we present it well to our family?
You know what? To me, it's very important because you eat with your eyes first. And there's something about colorful plates that make you hungrier. And just adding the cherry on top of that makes it pop. And the fresh mint leaf with the green and the red, it's always going to look prettier if you do something really simple with a green and a red. And it'd be nice if it went well with whatever you're serving. But something that's beautiful to look at makes it taste better.
Yeah.
You know, so even for your family, give them that treat. And also, I want to talk about respecting the people that cook for you.
Yes.
If someone
The
has
Chef Jennas.
well,
I know,
not just
I know.
me. I'm just saying, if your mother cooked for you, if your aunt cooks for you, if your husband cooks for you, you know, that's a really nice thing they're doing. They're spending their time and their love and putting it into food for you. You know, respect that. Say thank you.
Do a thank you.
You know, everyone deserves a little thank you.
Do you teach classes at all?
I do. I actually just had one last week, and I do free cooking classes once a month. It's always the second Saturday of the month. I skip December only because I'm so busy at the restaurant, it's hard for me to do it. And I usually have parties during that time. So it's from 2 to 3 p.m. on the second Saturday. Everything's listed on our website, and you can see each class what we're doing. So January will be soups.
Wow.
Which
So
is fun.
Take me through a class. What,
Sure.
I mean, it sounds like fun.
We have a lot of fun. The last class is especially fun. In November, we do a booze class.
Ooh,
So I
okay.
teach people how to make limoncello, which is one of the favorite liqueurs out of Italy. And what you do is Everclear, the real Everclear.
Okay.
You grate the outside rind of the lemon and put it into that and soak it for 2 to 3 weeks. And then you strain all that, and it turns this beautiful orange yellow color
Okay.
just from the outer rind. And then you add a simple syrup and you put it in your freezer. It's great for a gift for the holidays,
Yes.
or it's just great to
Well,
drink.
just great to drink.
Right, and then I
Here
make
we
a
go.
chocolate
Yeah.
liqueur too that is super easy. It's 4 ingredients, and it's great to mix up and put in bottles with a label and give as a gift as well. So that's why I do it in November, so it's ready for the holidays and they can treat someone to a homemade gift. Which, gosh, I don't know about you, but I love
That
a
is kind of a
homemade.
nice. It comes
Yeah,
to the
homemade
point where
gift.
that's what's important.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about getting kids in the kitchen.
Absolutely. My daughters.
Such as yours.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I do my cooking class, my daughters love to be there and help. And the more you can get your kids helping you in the kitchen, the better. It's a life skill.
Right.
So if you're teaching your kids from a young age to help you prepare the table, cut something with a not so sharp knife, peeling potatoes, peeling carrots, they feel like they're helping you, but they get excited that they can do
Plus,
something.
you can sit there and say, "How's your day, Charlie?"
Yeah,
You know?
and that's what I feel like we're missing that a lot, just because people are spending so much time on their phones. And I was talking with my husband about it today. We were talking about how we used to, when we were younger, sit as a family, watch the news, eat dinner, talk about our day. Whereas now it feels like people are so busy they don't have time for that, and it's a bummer.
Yeah.
So we hope we can get our kids involved, show them how important it is to sit down at the table, enjoy each other's company, help each other out. You learn, like I said, it's a life skill, not only to cook, but to learn how to speak with people, look them in the eye.
The etiquette, the whole etiquette.
Etiquette, yeah,
as well.
Please and thank you and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, almost done with our Thanksgiving special. You are open tomorrow.
Yes, we open at 4 to 10 on Fridays. So if you're out shopping doing the Black Friday.
Do you plan for a crowd? What do we do that day?
You know what? Restaurant business is so fickle. You don't really know what to expect. But usually people don't want to cook that day.
I was going to say. Yeah.
And they have family in town. And so they say, let's just go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
But usually it's a Friday night, so we're busy.
Right. And you'll be serving a few leftovers, I'm sure.
I
Probably not.
don't think so. I don't think
That's
we
your
won't have the
place.
tip, but yeah,
You
maybe
bet.
at my house.
We need your contact information, Chef Jenna.
Absolutely. We are at 5080 Alpine Avenue. We're right next to a Choice One bank, so some people drive by and they miss it. So We're right next, same driveway, and you can get to us at www.amoretrattoriaitaliana.com.
And you're not Italian, but
I
your
speak it.
sidekick is as
Yeah.
well. So, and it's got to be kind of fun to be the owner, have that responsibility, but also know that that's your product that you're out there serving
absolutely.
to your good people. All right. Well, I'm sure there's more turkey waiting for you.
I'm sure there is.
Let's get you home and
All right.
and make you happy. Thank you for your service here today on this
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving. Take care.